Today is Tuesday, June the 10th.
I am Dennis DeVoe.
I'm Jeff Zayas from Napa, California.
And I'm Robert Taylor in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Hey, I'm Duke Carico on this edition of Tech and Coffee's Android Journal. Android 4.4.3. We'll take a look. Will Samsung release a folding tablet and iOS 8? What did it borrow from Android, and what does it got that Android could use? All this more, our apps, and Bruce Turner will be joining us shortly. Good evening, Android Journal panel.
Good evening.
Hello, long time no see to Android Journal, guys.
Before we get started here, I just want to say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Dennis. Happy birthday yesterday to you.
I'll tell you what.
And also, I am Calgary, Alberta. I haven't done Android Journal in so long that I forgot what I was supposed to say.
I tell you, Levelator is not going to help that.
I don't think auto-tune, guys. On a quick note, though, I got myself a new present.
Hello there, Dennis's present.
Cleo.
Yeah, hello, Cleo. Yeah, congratulations, Dennis. And how old are you? Let's see, are you 55 now?
I'm 53 unless you reverse the digits, which actually is correct. I'm 35.
All right. Well, happy 35th birthday, Dennis, and glad to have you back on the show.
Thanks, Duke.
So,
the Minister of Speed just showed up.
Yeah, welcome everyone. Bruce Turner. Bruce, you barely missed the intro, and my beautiful rendition of Happy Birthday to Dennis DeVoe, man.
Oh, man, I hate that I missed that.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Good one.
Hey, I was thinking about changing my my nickname to Vroom Vroom.
I'll tell you, for anyone who is listening, just before we went live, we do the show through Google Hangouts, and Bruce was in a hangout in a Mustang GT. It was black with some red trim. I mean, this is a hot little Mustang. And anyway, I'm pretty sure that he was doing it safely, but he had the camera zoomed in towards the controls of the dashboard. And yes, sir, I saw 90 on that once, and you just to hear that thing sucking wind through the carburetor, it sounded nice, Bruce.
Well, it is I-95, so I figured I was supposed to reach 95, you know.
Well,
yeah, but not in 1 second.
Yeah, it's sweet. It's sweet. All right. So, hey, we've already got something in the Q&A. Is the dog Android ready? LOL.
I don't know what you mean about a dog, but the cat, I don't know. I'll have to see what Cleo thinks of Android.
I got the hippo ready.
All right, and just before we get into today's show, guys, I got to tell you, 3 weeks ago I ordered my wife a Moto G. It's the new one that supports the micro SD card slot, has LTE support. It came. We got her up and running this afternoon, and I can't tell you what joy that I've had watching her get joy. I got her email set up for her. She was asking me, she said, well, how do I delete it? I said, well, if you just want to delete one, just swipe it. Well, she grinned from ear to ear, couldn't believe how simple that was. And set up a couple of widgets for her. For anyone listening, she's coming from, she had 4 iOS devices and was getting by on an old Samsung device of mine till this G came. And she's really loving the different widgets that she can set up and how she can resize the widgets. And just to watch her grin all afternoon, it's what fun I've had. Absolutely.
Well, that's almost a segue into something else.
All right. Hey, man, speaking of that Moto G, it came out of the box with Android 4.4.3. So, hey guys, let's talk about 4.4.3. First of all, I've got it on my Nexus 5. It has yet to hit the Nexus 7 2012 edition, but supposedly this is mainly bug fixes. But the changes are 7,454 changes. These are all minor tweaks, bug fixes, etc. About the only difference that you would see in it is one, the dialer. And I'm going to pull it up here really, really quick, guys. Oops, wrong button. And this is what the dialer looks like now. It's more of a tiled type interface, and you can scroll. Of course, you can still search, but that is what the dialer looks like now when you launch it. Versus, of course, you can still go straight into the dial pad should you choose. But absolutely, that is kind of the what the dialer now looks like, and I'm kind of liking it. Also, for your contacts or your people, there is a similar interface as this, but that's visually, that's about the only changes that I can find to Android 4.4.3. But it sounds like they've done a whole lot of work now. I'm hearing that there's still some issues with some Nexus 5 devices where you've got a serious battery drain. But I personally have not experienced that. Dennis, have you been able to play with 4.4.3 any?
Well, I'm actually using a custom ROM myself, so right now I'm still on 4.4.2. I'm using a MADI ROM. And first of all, I tell you, it took me quite a long time to actually do that on my Nexus 5. So kudos to Google for that. But I will point out with the dialer, I do wish there was a dark mode option, because when you're out in bright sunlight, it can be a little hard to see the dial pad with the white background and blue text. Mm-hmm. So my brother, for example, he's got the Nexus 5 now, and that was the first thing he noticed when he tried to use the dial pad. So yeah, he came to me asking if I could make it dark again, and I told him I don't think so.
All right. Robert, you got any comments on 4.4.3?
Well, I will say that I got it on my Nexus 7 2013 edition. I have not seen anything visually. Of course, there's no dialer on the Nexus 7. It's a tablet. But one thing I have noticed, and it is mentioned in the article in our show notes about the Wi-Fi. I had occasionally some strange Wi-Fi issues. Not necessarily a dropout, but maybe some reduced range. That was a little bit of a problem. All of a sudden, I'm finding that with 4.4.3, I'm not seeing that same problem. At least I haven't yet. I got it yesterday evening at some point. Very smooth. I don't see anything, again, on the tablet's home screen or anything like that. But all of those fixes in the background, it's like, holy moly, 7,000 fixes? That's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that the number was so high. Maybe they're counting lines of code instead of actually fixes. I don't know.
Yeah. Bruce, do you have any comments on 4.4.3? Just a second, Bruce. We can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I was opening a bottle of peanuts, a jar of peanuts, and I didn't want you to hear the vacuum lid pop on it. But no, I follow CyanogenMod, and I noticed that they have released a brand new one, but it's still 4.4.2. But yeah, I've been reading the same stories. You know, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, you know, right now I'm kind of stuck on 4.3 on my Note 2. I keep checking from time to time. My wife's a Samsung Galaxy 4. She's got 4.3 right now. So, I mean, 4.4.2 is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I've been, you know, I have been learning from her. So, you know, I help her adjust to the changes, and it preps me for the changes whenever they come.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, hey guys, let's move on here because actually I've got an article on down the line here that I would really like us to spend some time with. Let's let's talk about there's a rumor that Samsung is reportedly planning to release a folding tablet in 2015. Now we've seen folding devices in the past, but I think what really jumped out at me with this one is double hinged to where it would actually fold 3 times, and it's supposedly going to have a flexible top screen, but it's not really set to be flexible. It's more of a hinged device. Speculation is that this thing's going to be 8 to 9 inches, I guess, wide. It's going to be a full HD display. They're expecting to see this thing in 2015. And Jeff, I just wanted to start with you. First of all, what do you think of the design of this thing?
Well, I like the concept, and I think they've been moving towards something like this with, the flexible, screens and things like that. So I like the idea. I can actually envision at one point where you have a phone that, can be opened up into a tablet if this actually works, and that would be just a wonderful thing. So, if it works, great. I would, I wouldn't personally buy one right now because I have a Nexus 10. So, and I'm, but I like the idea. I think I like where it's going. Why not? Again, I'm into the why not stage. And if they ever turn it into like a trifold phone, oh man, that would be just killer.
All right, hey, Robert, I want to get your thoughts on it.
I'm going to take the other end of the spectrum, Jeff, so we can argue.
Yay.
I don't see this working. I think that there's a very specific point of physics and functionality that are going to prevent a foldable tablet from being what we consider to be tablets today. Maybe I'm stuck in what I've got because I'm happy with what I've got. I don't find what I have to be too big or too obtrusive. So, to me, moving to a foldable screen, I want to know how you're going to get past the creases. I want to know how you're going to get past the screen that doesn't stay flat because it's used to being folded in your pocket. I have a problem with this. Not that it doesn't sound cool. I guess it does. But I just, in practicality, I don't see it.
So if they figured out a way to overcome those challenges of the creases and keeping it flat, then what would you say?
I would be interested to see how they do that. My limited knowledge of product design, I don't see how they can overcome it. I just don't. But again, I'm not an engineer, and again, it's an interesting idea. I do find it interesting that you can produce an 8 or 9 inch display into the width of a 3 or 4 inch package. That has some interest. I just don't see them actually being able to overcome it. Sounds good in words, but I don't know that it's going to function.
I can't for the life of me think now. There was a Russian company who had a phone. I know we've talked about it twice on Dan McDermott's show, our Android Week. And by the way, speaking of birthdays, happy birthday, Dan McDermott.
Yes, happy birthday, Dan.
But there was a phone that had a dual display. It was more like a Kindle grayscale display on the back side, but it was it wasn't an HD screen. I can't remember what it was, but I thought that had some possibilities. And when I look at this Samsung design, by the way. When I look at this Samsung design, I see some, if you were to take that concept to where maybe when this thing's folded up like a trifold billfold, to where it's got a display to be just a phone on that side, but then it opens up to the tablet with the 2 hinges. And now, don't get me wrong. I know that I'm talking about 2 separate displays here, so I'm already adding considerable cost to the unit. But I still think that could be a possibility with a design such as this.
Yeah, most definitely.
Well, you know, I'm staying at the Fairfield Inn Marriott, and as fate would have it, I began to think about this phone and this article, or this tablet in this article, and I looked over there, and there was a brochure laying on top of the fridge, and this is the brochure. And as fate would have it, it's a trifold brochure. So when I open it up like this, it has this other section here. So the value of this would be you could put aluminum foil, and you could and you could get out in the sun, like I'm in Florida right now, and you could get a suntan on your face by just holding this up and putting aluminum foil in there. So I like it, I think. Not crazy. Another Samsung stupid idea that they're floating out there is my sincerely held opinion.
Here.
They're throwing more crap on the wall to see if it'll stick.
I think the idea is Asus got it better with the pad phone design, where you have a phone that can dock into a tablet if you need to.
Maybe a scotch better, if anything.
Josh Swafford here has said, if they come out with this, would that take the place of our modern day laptops, Chromebooks, etc.? Josh, I'm going to just go ahead and say no. And the reason why I'm saying no is I just don't think that we're beyond the keyboard yet. I think that for a computing device to still be useful, there's don't get me wrong, I see a lot of the gesture-based stuff. We're going to be talking about that here shortly. You can swipe and touch, but still yet when it comes to actually getting work done, it's hard to beat a keyboard right now, and I just don't think that we're there with other forms of input.
But everything starts out like that. No, I don't think the computer would ever be able to use any kind of voice recognition for me to get anything done, because that's just too crazy out there. Or, there's always things that at the time seemed kind of nuts, but, and has all these refinements that need to take place, but eventually those refinements do take place, and you have a product that has text-to-speech. We talked about Google Now being, oh my God, look how responsive this is. I can actually post to my blog using this. I can do all these other things. So, technology has a way of, finding a way around this stuff. So,
yeah, and like I say,
what?
Go ahead, Robert. Go ahead.
This is not Jurassic Park. You're not going to overcome the laws of physics.
Thank
When
you.
you fold something, it's going to crease. And when
Really?
Yes.
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 You say that you say that definitely.
Yes.
Well, okay, so you're saying there will never be a product when you fold it won't crease.
No.
Oh, okay.
There will never be a product. I'm saying no. There will never be.
There'll never be a curved screen TV. There will never be a folding LCD thing.
I didn't say there will never be a curved screen.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
We'll never be able to walk down the street and talk on a phone.
Okay, Jeff.
Oh, I'm just saying, man. There's.
I think getting back to Josh's question, I think that maybe one day, and I think that Jeff and Robert both have very valid points. Maybe one day it will take the place, but I just don't think that if this thing comes out in 2015, it's going to replace laptops. Okay, there's still some technological challenges to overcome to make that happen.
I agree.
All right.
All right.
Guys, I'm going to move on. And, hey, Dennis, I want to get your input on this. First of all, we've heard talk about the Tizen smartphone.
Yep.
This is Samsung's in-house operating system. And the first product that we actually saw from it was one of the Samsung smartwatches. It runs on the Tizen platform. But now they've got a phone. It's called the Samsung Z, and I think this thing is, let's see, I think it's debuted in Germany. Where else has it debuted, guys?
Russia.
Okay. Of course, this thing is not in Europe or the Western areas yet. Spec-wise, it's a 4.8-inch Super AMOLED, 1280 by 720. It's got a respectable 2.3 gigahertz quad-core processor, 8-megapixel camera on the rear, 2.1 on the front. Samsung's got their work cut out for them on this. Dennis, I just want your views on the Tizen platform.
I'm honestly in complete agreement with you from a smartphone perspective. Right now, it is incredibly hard for anyone to topple the Apple, Google ecosystems. Even Windows Mobile has been making inroads, of course, but I really don't see Samsung having a lot of success. That being said, though, I think in terms of connected watches, because I really don't want to use the term smartwatches, as we discussed in your stream there, Duke, but in terms of smartwatches, I think Tizen could actually be very helpful there, mostly because it seems that Tizen will use less battery power than Android. And I think really in terms of a connected watch or any other wearable device that has a really small battery, that's where you're going to really see Tizen work, because they even introduced that with the original Galaxy Gear watch, and battery life did increase on that one as well. So I don't know, for a phone, I'm skeptical.
Fair enough. All right, man. Bruce, what's your thoughts?
Honestly, I was thinking, meet Tizen, Jane. A little too prehistoric yet for me. I just don't know. I mean, I love technology and I wish them well. It seems to me like they're counting a little too much on their brand. With previous successes with Samsung, Galaxy S3, S4, S5, and so forth. I'm not sure the world's really ready for another phone operating system unless they really excel in this battery market and that sort of thing. I think this is more of a developing world countries type of a phone, but it remains to be seen. But
okay. Anybody else? Jeff? Robert?
Well, Robert's not there right now. I would say it would be very difficult. Even look when you had someone like BlackBerry, right, who had a user space, and they couldn't even compete after a while in the same space. Windows had a hard time doing it. Ubuntu never really seemed to take off. So I don't see how they're going to be able to have the chops to actually make any inroads to make a difference, right? So.
I can't argue with you at all. I agree with you. Rob, you got anything you want to add on the Tizen?
Well, just real quickly, Bruce touched on something, and then Jeff recapped. They have had a series of successes, S3, S4, S5. Nobody's going to take that away from them. But Jeff mentioned, is their brand there? Do they have the backing behind them to carry that forward? Well, that begs the question. Are people in love with Samsung as a brand that they're willing to take the leap into another phone OS, or is it that they just like the hardware but it runs Android? That's what they love. But you see, there's a big question there. We have to consider that they're big in hardware and they're successful. That's great, but is that because just their hardware and their name, or is it because they've got Android, behind them? That's the thing.
I think at this point, Android is a very recognizable brand in the smartphone world. Okay, and just let me ask a question to the panel. Is the fact that this operating system looks so much like Android, was that on purpose?
Well, they probably did the same kind of development cycle or arc that Android used, you know. So it is a Linux-based operating system that kind of got, you know, redone.
Well,
But
and I think it was designed by Samsung, who, let's face it, they've got their own icon take on what you see in their Android phones.
Yeah, I think it's more a TouchWiz derivative. Wow, I don't even know if I pronounced that right, but
you did.
but if it's more TouchWiz than Android itself. Like you look at how a Samsung device looks versus the Nexus 5.
You know, and just I'm going to just toss one thing out there that's going to happen on June 18th, right? Everyone knows that date. Right? It's going to be when Amazon releases their phone, right? And
Yes.
you know, so that's another another company with a lot of chutzpah and a lot of backing behind it. And again, the marketplace was just going to be so crowded if there's another successful OS or successful venture like that. It would be hard.
And I do want to, as we get closer and learn more, I want to spend quite a bit of time with you guys talking about this Amazon phone that's coming.
Yeah.
It sounds interesting. I'll tell you what's the truth, guys. When I hear 3D, I get nervous because 3D's been done before and it's never been done right. So I don't know what Amazon's, what they've got that's going to set them apart or make them better. But like I say, as we learn more, I think that will be a very, very fun topic of discussion to throw across you guys. All right, hey guys, I actually want to move in and talk about Windows Phone now. And just to set this up, I want to say I played with Windows Phone a few times. I've never brought one home with me to really put it through the paces, but I've played with it. And I've got to say, I really like the user interface of Windows Phone. But, first of all, I'm rooted in Android. I'm rooted in Google services. I've used iOS devices, and I like them. And Windows phones have never offered me any reason to switch to that platform. Okay? Their third-party support is it's nowhere close to what you've got going on with Android and iOS. But now we've got an announcement. I guess this is a rumor that they're going to offer basically the Xbox version of the goodness gracious, my mind just went blank.
Connect.
Yes, the Kinect technology, to where it's basically how Kinect works is it's looking at you and it reads your gestures. Okay, so let's start with you, Jeff. What do you think, man? Is this going to be what Microsoft needs to really push its Windows Phone line out there to where they're no longer just a catch-up Me Too device, but they're actually offering something that the other big two can't offer?
Well, the other big two can offer it, and Samsung offered something similar to that, right? When you were able to look at your phone and was playing a video, you look away, it paused it. So that gesture, that eye tracking kind of thing, is out there, already out there. It wasn't a big success, So the idea of having a sensor go and put the phone down and hang up the call, I don't like that idea, because I put my phone down a lot just to do something, and the person's still talking. I'm going to put it on speakerphone or something. So I don't want anything hanging up the phone unless I want it to hang it up. So I think it would be kind of cool if you brought it to your ear and the phone answered the phone. That's kind of neat. But is that enough to kickstart their whole product line? I don't think so, because I think there's something that can be done with the sensors that do that now. So in Android or any other operating system. So
yes, I can see you walking around Canada now with your Xbox up against your ear there. What do you think, man?
Well, given the way smartphones screen sizes are increasing, I wouldn't doubt it at some point that could happen. Nonetheless, back to your question. I really don't see this working. I really do not see it as a selling point. I mean, even on the Xbox One, Kinect is now turning into... It's almost turning into vaporware. Like, it's not really doing much for people. And now, of course, Microsoft's offered the bundle without it that they released yesterday. So on a phone, I mean, I don't want to be going like, come on, like kind of thing. For people who couldn't see the video, it's basically like the gestures for it. I just don't see it working on a phone per se, and it's just going to be a gimmick that nobody uses, like a lot of the Samsung things like AirView and Smart Stay and all that. So no, I'm not convinced.
Okay, Bruce, what's your thoughts, man?
All right, you know my thoughts, right? So I travel a lot. I'm in airports. So first thing I think, it would be cool of a gesture if you wanted to ignore a call, you just went, or if you wanted to mute a call, you just went, shh, like that. But can you see a crowded airport? Everybody's at the gate, and they're all sitting there with their phones. It's funny enough now to see, nobody's looking up. Everybody's looking down at their device. But to look over at this long row of seats and everybody just doing stuff like this, I think the TSA would come up and say, wait, what's that guy doing? He's,
It's Minority Report.
I don't need this on my phone.
Windows Phone turn off. If someone just says that and everybody's Windows Phone shuts off, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, you're on a plane, they shut the aircraft door. What do they say? Okay, now you have to power down your voices. And you see some guy powering down his phone, and he hits the person in the seat next to him.
Okay. Yeah, before I move off of this, though, do you guys, first of all, who's played with Windows Phone? Dennis and Rob. Okay.
Yep.
Rob, I'm gonna ask you first. Do you agree with me? Do you like the interface?
I think it has its pluses. It is ultra smooth and has been ultra smooth from day one. It really does have some promise there. I like its flow. I like its scrolling. I'm not a big fan of the box type icons, but it did work. And it was my sister's phone. My sister was here visiting for a week, and she bought the Windows Phone. She is not a techie person, but she could work that phone like nobody's business. So it worked, and I thought it was pretty good.
Okay, all right, Dennis.
I'm in the same boat. I mean, when I first played with a Windows Phone device, I was just amazed at how responsive it was. And in terms of the tiled interface, I find it really does work on a phone. Much more than Windows 8 itself, much more than even Xbox 360 and Xbox One. I mean, even you look at the Google Dialer now. When you brought up the contact list, they were big tiles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think Microsoft, in terms of a small device, they wanted something that's easily controllable by touch, and I think they did well. And I'm honestly surprised that Windows Phone has not done as well as we'd expect.
I don't think it's not doing well because of the phone. I think it's not doing well because they were so late coming to the table.
Okay.
Number two, people don't trust Microsoft anymore.
True.
They're done with Microsoft, and they're not going to take a chance with their primary device. We go back to the poll that Duke put up the other day. What's your most important piece of tech that you use? And an overwhelming majority, it was their smartphone.
Yep.
They're not going to take chances.
Very true. Very true. Hey guys, I want to move into our discussion topic, and man, it almost seems sacrilegious that we call ourselves Android Journal, but yet we've spent a considerable amount of time talking about Windows Phone, and now we're going to talk about Apple's new iOS 8. But I mentioned on last week's show that I watched the keynote, and I was pretty impressed. First of all, Samsung, if you want to know how to do a keynote to unveil new products or services, watch a couple of these Apple keynotes because these guys, they know how to do it. Yes, I'll make fun of a lot of the hype that they'll give us from time to time, but Apple does a great job of the keynotes, and I was very impressed with what they have now done with iOS 8. And I'm getting some sort of a buzz from a device from someone. Just want to give that heads up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed. I don't know who it is, but I'm getting it through my speakers pretty good. Anyway, first of all, I just want to talk about some things that Apple has done to improve their operating system, which by the way, guys, is a great operating system. I know we're an Android show, and a lot of you viewers and listeners, you get mad at me when I say it, but iOS is a great operating system. I personally prefer Android. I find it much more versatile and in most cases more powerful. But iOS is not a bad operating system. And I think they've done a whole lot with iOS 8 to fill some gaps where Android had started to really take the lead. And here's just interactive notifications, okay? Apple's going to make notifications significantly smarter by allowing users to reply to text messages, accept calendar invites, and more without even leaving the app that they're currently in, okay? Hey, that's a pretty cool feature if you ask me. Much like in the interactive notifications that we've got with Google now. In Android, we can swipe down, and if Robert's put a comment on G+, I can read it, and there's a little reply function that I can click right there on the notifications and make that happen. So, hey, very cool, very cool. On messaging, okay. Now there's improvements made to group messaging that's going to let users name threads, okay, and they're going to be able to set up do not disturb messages for certain message threads, not just silencing the app, but being able to silence certain threads so that they won't be bothered, okay. In other words, they don't have to delete them or leave them; they can just silence them. And then, when things calm down, they can come back to them and catch up. I think that's a very cool feature. Way to go. Way to go, Apple. Okay. I guess one thing that I really saw coming out of their App Store that really made me jealous as an Android user, and also one whose wife just officially switched to Android today, is family sharing. Okay, with iOS, you can go to the App Store, you can purchase an app, and then you can share that app with 5 other family members. Who would love to see that in the Google Play Store other than me?
Well, I can tell you who would not want to see it: app developers, because you just cut my market down 80%. So, on one hand, while it sounds interesting and wonderful to say, hey, you can buy an app and you can share it with your friends and family, but instead what you've done is you've told the developer you're only worth 20% of what you thought you were.
Well, let me ask you this question, Robert. Have you heard anything about developers being able to opt out?
No.
So in other words, this is going to be part of their agreement that if they sell their app on Apple's platform, that they could be giving it away 5 times after it's purchased once.
Not having any other information in front of me, I'm going to draw that conclusion.
All right. Now, one thing. Let's see. I want to try this here. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I'm going to give it a try. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Okay. One thing that just really got me is, of course, search is something that Apple's really worked on within iOS, and just like you can say, "Hey Google," or "Okay Google," or "Okay Google now," huh, it just read that, heard me say it. But yeah, now there's gonna be Hey Siri, so Apple's probably doing some copying there. But hey, that's some of the best form of flattery, correct? Come on, guys, jump in here. What do you think?
Well, first thing I want to say about family sharing is I don't believe personally myself that family sharing includes apps. I think family sharing provided an opportunity to notify parents if their child wanted to purchase an app and they could thumbs up or thumbs down it. I think, when I read the article, it says, which makes it easy to share purchased content. I think purchased content means books, music, movies. I don't think it applies to sharing apps. I may be wrong, but I don't recall picking that up in the keynote that it went as far as you purchase one app and 5 people can put that app on their phone.
Good point. Very good
Yeah,
point.
and if you purchase an app now in an Android operating system, you can put it on all the devices that you own, right? It's not just on one device. It's the app can go on your Nexus 7, can go on your Nexus 10, can go on your Android phone, right? So.
But that's tied to your username and.
Correct. But I'm saying it's not limited to the device. So if the user is being shared, right, in some strange way, or the account is purchasing it for up to 5 people, like Amazon Prime, right? It's up to, I don't forget how many people in the household can do it, and actually another household, I think, or something like that. So, some things have changed. But you're right. I agree with Robert. If I'm a developer, geez, and I just got a reduction in my revenue, but so did Apple, by the way, because they're not taking a piece of that pie. Of course, Apple has bigger pockets. But I want to comment on the other thing that everyone's in the Android community about the iOS system now is just beginning to catch up to Android, and I'm going, that's great. We want that. We want competition to make the other person better and have them bring them up. And I think they started to implement many items that we already had, but they still have some things that Android doesn't have. And that whole health kit environment and the whole health tying into healthcare providers is going to be huge. And also how they handle their development environment is better. They handle privacy better. They handle that fingerprint technology, embedded in the chip, so it can't be hacked. So you can have that as a logon. I mean, there's going to be some really cool stuff. So I think it does. I think it's good that they're doing this and making their stuff a little bit more robust and a little more open. It was never open like it is now. I mean, now apps can actually talk to each other through their own little adjoining communication app, whatever. And that is great because Apple was closed down for such a long time, and now they're opening it up under Cook's leadership. It's no longer the same environment. It's getting better. So I like it. I think they did a great job. And you're right. If you want to know how to do a presentation, go watch those guys.
Yeah. Dennis, what you got for us, man?
I've got something Bruce also just commented on the chat, but basically it is going, like, family sharing will work with iTunes and App Store purchases, and Apple has now begun emailing developers to ask them to turn on the feature in their iTunes Connect developer portal. So in terms of whether it's a necessity, let's see here, to make your apps available, agree to the updated iOS paid applications. So I'm almost wondering if it's something that they're going to almost force on developers after, because right now it looks like it's an opt-in, but for how long we don't know.
Okay, yeah, we don't know about the opt, but yeah, it does It does apply to apps. So, hey guys, Douglas Clement here. He's asking, what are your thoughts of buying Apple phones with no contract? Seems they're more expensive than Android phones. The Moto G, $99. First of all, before I ask the panel to comment, Doug, I sure gave a lot more than $99 for my wife's Moto G that arrived in the mail today. But yeah, the Moto E, I believe, is hitting around $129, and they're great devices. I'll tell you what, Bruce, I'm just going to start with you, man. Just if you don't care, what's your thoughts on buying an iPhone out of contract?
You're muted, Bruce.
Can't hear you. Yeah, we
Really?
lost your audio. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Hey, Robert, why he's getting that ironed out, I'll start with you. What's your thoughts on buying an iPhone out of contract?
Not a chance in the world. Not a chance in the world. I'm not going to spend, $600. Granted, nice piece of hardware, iOS improvements, all wonderful. Not going to spend $600 for an iPhone out of contract. Not going to do it.
Jeff?
Yeah, I love to disagree with Robert all the time because I have gray hair. He still has hair that's a different color. Yay! But I would not spend $600 for a phone or $599 for out of contract phone or whatever. It's just it's like outrageous. I wouldn't do it, and they're not going to discount. Apple doesn't discount, so I don't think you'll be able to do it. I mean, you could do it, but
Doug, I just want to say that I kind of know Jeff pretty good. He would buy that phone out of contract. In fact, he would probably buy that phone out of contract for $1,000, but he'd take it back a week later. Bruce, jump in here now, man.
Am I on?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's really, what if you're into the Apple system and you've got apps that you like to use and so forth, I think there'd be a market for people to want to buy them out of contract. They want to stay there, and they could save money for the same reason that you'd buy any out-of-contract phone. So I think it's more of an economic decision tied together with what your preference is for an operating system.
Yeah, but Bruce, let me just, those people that would buy an out-of-contract phone that are Apple fanboys or are Apple enthusiasts, right? How often do you think they'd be upgrading that phone after they bought it out of contract? Or you think that would be, that they're going to hold on to that phone for 4 years versus 2 years?
I think it would be no different than their upgrade on their MacBooks and their iPads and their phones. I think they would have almost an identical curve, an upgrade curve in time. That's just the way they, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way, seem to be.
Right. Okay.
And one more thing, if I can just jump in quickly here, is the other thing to note is the Moto G, the Nexus, even the Nexus 5, they're not the majority of Android phones. I mean, you look at your flagship phones, the Samsung Galaxy S5, the Note 3, the upcoming LG G3, HTC One. Those phones are also $600 plus on contracts or off contract. So that's the great thing.
And I'm not buying them either.
We've got these budget options.
And the thing, though, Dennis, you bring up a very valid point. They are, $500, $600, $700 phones. However, there are alternatives, just like what Duke found for his wife today, the Moto G. He didn't spend $99. It was more than that. But he didn't spend $600 either. And that's the thing, is, at some point, a reasonable man standard is going to step in and say, I'm not going to spend $600, and I know I need to spend more than $99 to be off contract. So they find a place in the middle, which you have lots of Android options to do that. You don't really with the iPhone. The 5C, 5S, period. That's it. And so that's why when somebody says buy an iPhone off a contract, I just cringe at the thought, because you really don't have that many options to go from. With Android, Moto X, Moto G, all the new phones we've been talking about for the last 2 months coming out into the market, and they're all based, between the $150 and $300 mark. We'll take it.
Just real quick here, since we talking about that, here's the. I went to the Google Play Store here. First of all, you've got the Nexus 5 that you can buy out of contract. You've got these Play editions, the Sony Z Ultra, the HTC One, the Moto G, the LG Pad. Surely not. That's got to be a tablet.
That's a tablet. Yes.
Yeah, Samsung Galaxy S4, the HTC One M8, and just to kind of drive home Dennis's point, the HTC One M8 Google Play Edition is sitting at a very cool $699. Okay, so. I
that's
think,
not cool.
To Robert's point, he wouldn't pay $600 for an iPhone out of contract, no more than he would pay $700 for an Android phone.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. Hey, one thing we didn't talk about, if you scroll back up on that screen a little bit, you have to go back to devices, is the Nest and iOS, right? Home appliances, that's the next battleground between iOS and Android.
The HomeKit, yeah.
The HomeKit is going to be really kind of like, whose standard is going to win out, and who's going to align with who. So that's another interesting kind of battle that's going to take place in the next couple of years. Who's actually going to do it.
Yeah, I agree. One more thing I just want to say, iOS 8 is going to add widget support in the notification tray. This isn't widget support like we know in Android, okay? And guys, I just want to say, just watching my wife with the ability to be able to add a G Plus widget, a Gmail widget, and there were some other widgets that she was adding to her screen and just tickled to death. She just couldn't believe that she didn't have to launch an email app to click on an icon to be able to read and respond to her email. So just little features like that we've experienced in Android for, a few years now. iOS users still don't understand what they're missing out on.
Yep.
All right. Hey, guys, let's move on. We're going to leave that there. And let's move into apps. But before we do, hey guys, we are Android Journal. You can catch our podcast on Stitcher Radio and iTunes. But we are a small part of a group called Tech and Coffee. If you'll go to techandcoffee.info, you can learn about us. We are a G Plus community, and we're a hangout. We hang out daily. I promise you, all of these panelists here, I talk to them almost every day, and they're more than Android experts to me. They're good friends of mine. And we've also got a Twitter. You can follow us there, Twitter and Facebook, Tech and Coffee 1. Catch all of our podcasts on YouTube at Tech and Coffee. And, hey, questions, comments, and snide remarks, AJ at techandcoffee.info. Hey, Bruce, you got an app for us this evening?
I do not. It's rare, but I don't have an app this evening to share.
All right, Dennis, on to you, my friend.
Okay, I'll be very quick with one then, since Bruce didn't have one. The app that I have is called Yahtzee XBMC Remote. So XBMC seems to be a favorite among the Tech and Coffee community for streaming media. There's XBMC and then there's Plex. So Let me just bring up my screen share here. Now, the thing I like about this remote is you can use it as a remote, but you can also stream to your Android device. So you can stream things from a desktop running XBMC. And the nice thing also as well is I can start XBMC because I use my desktop as my home theater PC. So from my Android phone, I tap an icon and it'll automatically start up XBMC, and then I can browse my library just like they're showing here. This, of course, is a tablet interface. But even on my phone, I can browse the library to see what movies I have, what TV shows, and I just find it's a very responsive app, very user-friendly, and the best part is that they do update quite a bit. So if there's any bugs that people have, I've seen that they update it fairly often. So I love it.
Very good, thank you, Dennis. I've used that app some, and I haven't used it a whole lot, but I've used it enough to know it is a good app. Jeff, what you got for us, man?
Well, I have something, and now it just turned into I have something, and it's called a rant. So, on Saturday, which was NBA Finals day, right? Or I was watching the basketball game, and my wife wanted to watch something else because she wanted to watch something else. So I started to look around, and I came upon, how can I watch the game? How can I watch the NBA Finals? Well, there's something called ABC Watch, which is right on my screen right here. I'm going to click on that little puppy, and you're going to see these beautiful women come up, blah, 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 blah. Oh, look, we can watch The Bachelorette and Mistresses right now. Isn't that great? But, there's a basketball game on tonight, and for some reason, if I want to click live, now, thanks to my wonderful Comcast, it says it's not offered in my area. But I watched it on Saturday, so I have no clue what's going on. So my app was to actually show ABC Live watching the basketball game, or anything that's live, and now it's not working. So I don't know. That's my app. How pathetic is that, huh?
Yeah.
You want something to work, and it just doesn't.
Well,
you think it should work out of the box all the time, same way, and it doesn't. So
hey, it's network TV and the internet, and we all know the problems that network TV has with the internet.
But on Saturday, I was watching the game on my tablet, watching this app, and today is Tuesday, and I wanted to kind of do the same thing because I was going to watch it outside, in my nice little safe zone, and I won't be able to. It's a drag.
It sucks.
It totally sucks.
Sucks to be you. Hey, Robert, what you got, man?
Oh, well, if Jeff's going to rant, I'm going to rant, right? All right, let me share my screen for you. One of the biggest things that bugs the living bejesus out of me is bloatware. Now, when it comes to your cell phone, there's a couple of different ways to deal with bloatware. One of the most common is to root your device and use Titanium Backup to freeze those unwanted apps. But a lot of people don't realize that you don't actually have to do that. Starting with Android 4.2, you could actually freeze the apps on your phone that are installed by the carrier. One of my big pet peeves with Verizon is look at all this Verizon crap that they have here. VZ Navigator, Verizon Tones, VZ Protect. I mean, it's all over the place on this phone that I just recently got. And it just irritates me that it's there because I know that it's eating up and consuming resources that I'm never going to use VZ Navigator. So I wanted to, rather than actually show an app, just kind of demo really quickly for folks how you can disable those apps so that they won't update, they won't affect the performance of your phone, they won't get in the way of when you're trying to do something. It's actually really simple. Just go to Settings, and then inside of Settings, go to Apps. Then once you go to Apps, swing over to All, and find the app that you want to kill. Now, this is going to be a very long list because it's got all the Google stuff in it. You're going to have to scroll for a good bit, as you see that I have done. And let's say that I don't want VZ Navigator. Here it is. Now, there's a couple of things that you have to do. The first thing to disable the app is you should uninstall the updates. I'll click that really quick. I'll undo this. And it's going to remove the VZ Navigator updates out of my phone. Once that's finished, I can click Disable. And once I've done that, I am never going to be bothered by VZ Navigator again. Now, it's still on my phone. I'll scroll over there. It's still here. I can re-enable it, but notice it's not in my list of apps. Okay? I'm not going to get notices about it. The other thing that this does is it does not stop over-the-air updates. So when 4.4.3 comes to my phone, I'll still be able to take that update over the air without having a problem because I was rooted and I froze the carrier apps. I suggest you go back and take a look at it. I actually did a quick add up, and there were over 300 megabytes of carrier added bloatware to my phone that I was able to go and remove because I'm never going to use the app. If I wanted to, I can go and re-enable it, but this is how you remove that crap that they put on your phone. Hope that was helpful.
Very good, Rob. Very good. Very good tip. I like that. And, you know, guys, it must be the night for app rants, okay? Because a couple of weeks ago, I was reading on one of the Android blog sites about a cool little app called Circle. And basically, I've had very high ratings, and if you'll notice, this still does. It's got a little bit better than 4 stars. It's been rated 233,874 times. Okay, pretty popular. But guess what, man? Late last week, an update came, and with this update was an entirely new interface. And this app, about the only thing that is the same about this app that used to be when this app was getting so popular is it's still called Circle. The icon has even changed. Okay? And the way that it used to work is it was very location aware. And you could post to a location, hey, what's a good place to eat around here? Or what's something that's going on, you know? And people, and you had the option of even posting this further to your Facebook friends, okay? So you could, you know, post locally within the app or just throw it out to your Facebook friends. Had a very nice interface. Now they've changed the interface. And this is kind of what you get. You ask it, hey, you know, what do I want to do today, tomorrow, or this weekend? And then it'll say, well, how do you feel? And you can pick one of these, or you can hit surprise me, and I will demo that. And then it tells you what's going on closely around here. Now, here's how this really sucks, okay, is now then you can say, hey, I want to go to this jasmine tea after work. This yoga and jasmine tea. This sounds like fun. Well, when you do that, it asks, would you like to invite your Facebook friends? And guys, the more you invite, the more points you get. And you can get enough points to where you can go to Vegas. Okay? So this is all just a big racket. The people who have changed this app literally have ruined it. It is very attractive, but that will only carry you so far, and I just want to show what this app looks like. Okay? Let me give this angle instead. Okay? This is the Circle app. Okay? And So here we go, and it's loading up, and it's saying, I'm looking for something to do. Do I want to do it today, tomorrow, this weekend? Well, I'm doing Android Journal tonight. Let's shoot for the weekend because I live in Northeast Tennessee. I want this thing to actually find something. So I say, okay. Now it's going to ask me, well, how do you feel? I'm going to say, surprise me.
Wait for it.
Oh, it's family time. So it's searching Foursquare, another place. So here we go. How about this? Oh, the embroidery club meetings. This is 2 miles from me. It happens every Saturday at 10 a.m. So I say, yes, I want to go to the embroidery club. So right here is how it gets it. So it's wanting to know who on your contacts list do you want to send invites to the embroidery club meeting. Okay? And it's telling me that I'll get 10 points for every friend that I invite. And if I get 10,000 points, I win prizes. Okay?
Wow.
This app has been ruined. It's called Circle. Guys, if you see it, because it did have great reviews, okay? Legitimately, it had good reviews. If you see this thing, do not download it. It is a waste of good space on your device, I promise you. Guys, that's my app for this week.
Well done.
I like it.
All right, and just before we go, one more comment here. This is from Tanya Bolas. Says, that Circle sucks now. Thanks, Duke. Yeah, so there's somebody who's downloaded it, used it, and sees how it definitely has changed for the worse. Hey, gang, listen, as always, I've enjoyed it. For anyone listening, we do this live every Tuesday night. You can come check us out on YouTube at, Whack Tech and Coffee. Come watch us live. If not, hey, Stitcher Radio listeners, thank you very much for your support and your consistency. We continue to grow, and, hey, we thank you. You're the reason why we do this. As always, questions, comments, and snide remarks, AJ at techandcoffee.info. Hey, guys, I hope you all have a great week. We will catch you later.